best class for quick scoping in Call of Duty Mobile and tips and tricks for quick scoping coming up now. Alright guys, so for this we're going to go into our multiplayer screen, because here you could access your loadout menu and your square streaks menu without having to go back and forth. Also later on in the video I'll be going over tips and tricks for how to quick scope in Call of Duty Mobile. Alright, so you want to go to your loadout screen, and here this is my entire setup for my quick scoping class. The main focus are the primary weapon and the perks. So first we'll start with the primary weapon, the sniper rifle. I prefer the DLQ-33 because it's pretty quick. You get a lot of one-shot kills above the waist. The XPR-50, it's too bulky, it feels a bit slow, and I like to rush a lot, move around a lot, so I feel like this is too heavy for how I play. The M21 EBR, it's a semi-automatic, so it's a bit weaker, and it means you'll have to shoot a bit more times to get your kill, and it's not too reliable. And then for the Arctic 50, I haven't really tried this weapon out too much, but I will let you guys know when I do have this weapon unlocked. So subscribe for more videos weekly so you could find out what I think about the Arctic 50. Also feel free to comment which sniper rifle you prefer. I prefer the DLQ-33 because I love quick scoping. And drop a like if you do enjoy this video. Alright, so once you choose your sniper rifle, you want to have to choose your attachments. Just be sure though, when you are choosing your attachments, you have to have your sniper rifle leveled up so you could access all of these attachments. For the optic, I don't really like to use the optic. I like to use the standard scope in every Call of Duty. I've always preferred that, but again, this is really preference. It could, I guess, increase some of your stats, but that's again up to you. So the most important attachment I think is the stock SR, because it increases your movement speed while aiming. So in your quick scoping, you could strafe left and right, back and forward, and it makes yourself a harder target to hit while being able to kill your target. So the second attachment would be the extended mag SR. You could choose fast mag SR if you prefer to reload faster, but I prefer to have more bullets in my clip, especially if I'm going for kill feeds. So the third attachment is really up to you. You could go with the FMJ, you could go with suppressor, or you don't have to put a third attachment on. The FMJ is good because it increases your material penetration. That means you could shoot through walls better, and if you're pretty consistent and pretty accurate, then this attachment is really vital for your loadout. Alright, so once we have our primary weapon set up, you're going to want to go to your secondary. This secondary is completely optional, up to your playstyle, what you prefer. I like to use SMRS because I could shoot on my enemy square streaks, and also, you know, troll a little bit if I want to. So once we have our weapon set up, you want to go to the other side here, the right side. We have our operator skills. I always will prefer the sight because it's accurate, it works good at close and far ranges, and you could kill quick. The purifier is a good secondary option if you don't mind rushing in close quarters. The Tempest has a slow load up time, and the War Machine could be a bit inconsistent, and you could possibly get yourself killed with the War Machine. Alright, so once we have our operator skill selected, you could choose whatever grenade you want. I don't really worry too much about the grenades or the tacticals, so that's really up to you. Next, we have the second most, if not the most important part of our loadout, which are the perks. So for perk 1, we have two options. We have Agile, and this makes it quicker to mantle, and you could aim quicker after sprinting. So if you're sprinting around a lot, it makes everything quicker for you. But if you don't like that perk, fast recovery is usually my main perk. If I'm not quick scoping, it increases your health recovery rate by 35%, which definitely makes it more reliable if you're in a lot of gunfights. On my second perk 2, I always use Vulture in every Call of Duty. Doesn't matter the name that they give it. It lets you pick up ammo from your kills. In Call of Duty Mobile, it has to be ammo equal to the magazine capacity of the current weapon. So you're not gonna pick up more ammo than what you have in your weapon currently that you could carry. A good secondary would be toughness. If you're getting shot at a lot, it reduces your flinch. If you're aiming down more than you are quick scoping, toughness would be a good secondary perk for you. But yeah, that's pretty much everything we have for our loadout. We're gonna go over to our score streaks. Remember, to access your score streaks, you have to go into the multiplayer menu, and here you can access it. I use the basic 3 score streaks you start out with: the UAV, the Hunter Killer Drone, and the Predator Missile. But if you're feeling a bit more comfortable, you could use the higher kill streaks. I do not recommend the airdrop because it could get stolen and it could definitely give away your position and also slow down your pace that you are killing people and prevents you from getting a possible nuke in your match. For the next segment, I'll be going over how to quick scope in Call of Duty Mobile and give you guys some little pointers and some tips and tricks. For the first part of quick scoping tips and tricks, the very first thing I want you guys to do is go to your settings, go to basic, and scroll down to ADS. Normally this setting is on tap to ADS. That means when you tap the aim button, it stays aimed in until you tap the aim button again to stop aiming down. So if you have tap and hold to ADS, that means you have to hold this button to aim down and just release the button when you want to stop aiming down. And the second very important setting is to have aim assist on. This just helps you aim, helps you center your screen and your aim towards your target. And if you have this off, you're gonna have a lot of hard time quick scoping and just aiming down and shooting people in general, unless you're using keyboard and mouse. So if you're absolutely new to quick scoping in Call of Duty Mobile, I heavily suggest you go to the practice versus AI game mode. This just lets you versus bots, and it's really easy, and it's a great way to just learn the basics in how to quick scope. Alright guys, for this game mode, practice versus AI, basically everybody in the lobby is a bot except you, of course. Alright, so just choose your quick scoping class when you're loading in. Alright, so the very first tip I have, the very most important tip and the very basic of quick scoping, we're going to use this red crate over here. When you're aiming at a target, you want the center of your screen to be at where your target is, and once you have your aim locked on, you want to aim down, and you see my crosshairs are where the center of the screen is. As soon as you see your crosshairs, as soon as you scope in, you want to pull the trigger, and that's when you have the full 100% accuracy, and it's the quickest you're gonna get to getting a kill with your sniper. And as soon as you're done shooting, you want to let go of the aim and find your next target. So go from one target to the next, and you want to practice going from one target to the next. You could practice on anything you want, anything that just stands out, that just is an easy target. Also, another technique to quick scoping is called drag scoping. This is mainly done in like older CODs. If you've been around, you might have heard this term, drag scoping. So basically, let's say you shot a target or whatever, you're looking somewhere else, your target is right here. You just basically, as you're aiming down, you're dragging your scope towards your target, and in one swoop motion you're just drag scoping. It's a really good technique if you're moving around a lot, or if you have multiple targets, or you just can't just focus on going from aiming in out and aiming in again. You just drag and just flick shot, whatever you want to call it. So basically, when you have your target, you want it to be one quick motion, and it's not only just aesthetically pleasing when it's one just smooth motion without any delay. It's the fastest you could kill, and it means a less chance of someone shooting you, your target shooting you, your target moving around, and dying. So also, you want to be strafing around. You don't want to make yourself an easy target. If people know and see you have a sniper rifle, they're going to prioritize you as a target. They're going to want to kill you. They just, for some reason, just everybody tends to focus on whoever has a sniper rifle. Maybe it's because they're pissed off that you're quick scoping them, or they just don't want to be a victim from your sniper, because it kind of sucks being killed instantly by a sniper right away. So yeah, just make yourself a hard target. Again, this is just a lobby against bots. I don't really have to worry about moving around. Once you get the basis of aiming in and shooting, that's when you really want to implement moving around. Make yourself a harder target. If you could jump while moving around, jump. If you could crouch while aiming down and shooting and everything, it just helps make yourself a harder target. Yeah, and it also throws off people if you're jumping around and crouching a lot, or just hard to see areas. You don't always have to be moving around, especially if you're going for a nuke. You want to play defensively. You don't want to be rushing out too much. Like this boss on this map, it's pretty solid, but depending on the game mode, people might get behind you, spawn behind you, and whatever. But if you guys want a separate video on quick scoping strategies for certain game modes, certain maps, you just let me know down in the comment section below. But yeah guys, so next tip I have, not really a tip, but something I wanted to mention. When I talked about FMJ earlier, you're shooting through things. So like if I want to use this thing as cover and my enemy's not shooting through this cover, I could just aim down, try to predict where my enemy is, and just try to shoot them through it. And if you're accurate, you'll get the shot and they won't know what hit them. Some maps it's easier to do, some maps it's harder to do, and there's some objects you cannot shoot through, like vehicles, floors, ceilings, staircases, just some things that, you know, a bullet cannot really penetrate through, but usually through walls, it's the main object you could shoot through. Sometimes windows, like broken windows or like broken doors from cars, that works too. Also guys, if you want your clips to look really good, once you're like really getting the hang of it, or if you just want to get better ideas, you can line up targets. Let's say you have two enemies lined up side by side. Try to line up your shot so your shot hits both enemies with one shot, and it's pretty nice being able to hit this. I just got a nuke. Like I said, it's really easy, really just against the bots, just to practice. Don't really try to use your kill streaks, because your main focus doing this is trying to improve your quick scoping ability. If you don't like how this sniper rifle feels, you could always experiment with different snipers, different attachments, and find whatever works for you best. But yeah, so with everything, you just want to aim down your screen, the center of your screen, to your target, and shoot. Also, as a little side note, it could feel a bit wonky sometimes when you're trying to quick scope. Like when I shoot and try to aim down instantly, there's like a delay, and I noticed if I aim down and shooting like I'm doing right now, it's quicker, but depending on what type of gameplay you're going for, if you're recording or trying to get clips or whatever it is you're doing, you might just not want to stay aimed down. there's a term called hard scoping when you're aiming down your sniper rifle and not quick scoping. People try to diss for that, so just be warned if you're going for montages. Quick scope, prioritize quick scoping over hard scoping. It just looks better for montage unless you're just dead accurate with your sniper and you hit every shot while aimed in multiple enemies at once. So with that being said, that's pretty much everything for this video. I went over the settings for quick scoping, tips and tricks, and also the best class for quick scoping. So with everything, I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, drop a like. It helps me out. And with that being said, I will see you next time. Peace.